As they grew older, both William and Harry found some initial respite from the media during their school years and military service. Although never completely out of the public eye, these periods allowed them a semblance of normalcy. During these years, the media narratives around them began to diverge. William was often portrayed as the dutiful heir, while Harry was cast as the rebellious spare. As William grew older, the media attention would become more invasive. His education at Eton College, gap year adventures, and time at the University of St Andrews were all under the careful watch of the media, yet still at a respectful distance. And it would be at university that he would meet his future wife, Kate Middleton. One thing that most definitely helped William and Kate's relationship to blossom naturally was the decision made by the British tabloids, perhaps as a result of Diana's tragic death, to give William more privacy than usual during his further education, and give him as near a normal life as possible during that vital part of his life.
They would spend time walking in the park, not fearing a photographer in a hedge. And while pictures were taken, newspapers agreed, under this special agreement that was made after Diana's death, not to actually publish those pictures. So there was no market. You cannot underestimate how important that has been in their relationship.
The couple's decision to delay their engagement until 2010 allowed them some privacy to develop their relationship away from the public eye. For Prince Harry, more often than not, negative media scrutiny would become commonplace. His use of cannabis and his 2005 Nazi uniform scandal, objectively a terrible decision by the prince, sparked outrage and criticism, demonstrating the media's readiness to exploit every misstep.
Harry is a party creature. He always will be. So obviously he's going to get caught out.
Today's papers all carry headlines about his drug-taking and underage drinking sessions. The paper which broke the story says the young prince smoked the drug on several occasions at private parties with friends.
Yeah, in January 2005, I ran a story about Prince Harry, a picture that we got of Prince Harry going to a party, actually with William, and he was wearing a Nazi outfit. It created a huge stink. William's reaction to the Nazi story, when he had a chance to bend my ear about it, was very sweet, and it was a sort of the way I'd like my big brother to stick up for me if I'd been put in the papers and obviously something I'd done had upset people.
As a teenager, Harry's struggles were often sensationalized. His youthful indiscretions and rebellious behavior were headline news, painting a picture of the wild child prince. The relentless media scrutiny took a toll, impacting his personal life and mental well-being.
Harry learnt a lot in that small period of time, and I don't think at that stage in his life anybody could have said anything to him that he would have taken notice of.
Despite the negative press, Harry's military service marked a turning point. Serving in the British Army, including tours in Afghanistan, Harry earned respect and recognition for his service.
There's a long tradition of senior members of the royal family going into the armed forces, because after all, the monarch is head of the armed forces. And it's a useful place, really, for them to be.
From the outset, the media portrayed Prince Harry as a dedicated and brave soldier, willing to serve on the front lines. His deployment to Afghanistan in 2007-2008 was a defining moment. This wasn't just a ceremonial role. Harry was deeply committed to his duties, engaging directly in combat situations. The press lauded his courage and dedication. However, Harry's military service was not without challenges. Significant security risks were associated with his deployments. His presence in active combat zones raised concerns about his safety and the potential danger to his comrades due to his high-profile status. There were instances where media coverage led to operational security issues. In 2008, his deployment in Afghanistan had to be cut short after a media leak revealed his location, heightening the risk of targeted attacks.
And I was surprised, I think like a lot of other people, that he was able to be in active service in Afghanistan, which, to his credit, he was allowed to do, but under, specific, special circumstances. I mean, the Taliban and so at that time, everyone knew that Harry was in Afghanistan. And I think he was very fortunate to be able to do 2 tours of service.
But it was good to have him down. I think, as you spoke to some of my guys earlier, they're extremely proud. I mean, we all were serving Queen and country, and he's a living, breathing member of the royal family, stood right next to us and fighting on the front line. I mean, that makes me proud, and I hope that it makes people back home proud to know that members of their royal family are out fighting for the country that they're from.
The ugly noise of battle crackles over a bloody sunset. Prince Harry's in his element.
As they grew older, William and Harry's paths began to diverge. William, destined to be king, took on a more traditional role within the royal family. His relationship with the media became one of necessity and careful management. Tens of millions tuned in to watch the marriage of Prince William and Kate Middleton, highlighting the power the media were playing in portraying their lives across the world. Together, they have cultivated an image of stability and duty, often working with the press to highlight charitable causes and royal duties. Meanwhile, Harry's journey took a different turn.
I think the time when that bond started to fracture a bit was when Harry probably came out of the army and started going into royal work.
And I think he accepted that. He knew that, and he knew that to being able to perform 2 tours of duty was perhaps more than he even anticipated. And then that sort of effectively landed him in an office job in the Ministry of Defence, which would not have been to his liking. And so that was the end of his military career. And I think at that point, he acknowledged, like his brother, that he was cut out from royal duties.
The space was quite small within their charitable world for the 2 brothers together. And I think Harry slightly railed at the hierarchy. Here was his brother, his mate, but who was slightly pulling rank at times.
And, it was part of this new machinery, this new royal machinery of modernising the royal family. And, I think there were great hopes for Harry, to be honest. And, he was certainly probably the most popular member of the royal family at that particular time.
His relationship with American actress Meghan Markle brought a fresh wave of media scrutiny, characterised by intense interest and at times overtly critical and racially charged commentary.
I think Meghan had quite a difficult initial period after their relationship was confirmed, and we know this because Harry issued a statement defending her and sort of warning people off. She described it as disheartening and discriminatory, but Harry himself mentioned sort of racial undertones, which is pretty upsetting for anyone concerned. And I think, it is a difficult situation when you're thrust into the glare of media interest. The royal family garner a huge amount of attention, and we know that they're not necessarily delighted by it, but they work closely with the media to get their messages across. But I think nothing prepared Harry and Meghan for the wave of interest that followed the announcement of their relationship.
Harry and Meghan's 2018 wedding was a joyous occasion, yet it also marked the beginning of a tumultuous relationship with the press. The intense and often negative coverage led to a very public rift with the royal family and the media.
There is no doubt that when anybody marries into the royal family, the media immediately start looking into the background and the family of that person. I mean, with Meghan, it was quite easy because she'd been very public on social media and on the internet. She'd spoken about her biracial background, the fact that her ancestors were slaves. She'd spoken extensively about her charity work as well. So we had a really quite graphic picture of the type of woman she was, a feminist, somebody who believed in speaking out about her mixed race background. And I think that all of this actually was positive, in my opinion, because it gave the media a platform which they could base their stories.
Meghan's every move was analysed and criticised. Her fashion choices, her gestures, and even her relationships within the royal family were dissected. The press was unforgiving, often portraying her in a negative light. Accusations of breaking royal protocol, reports of alleged rifts with other royal members, and constant comparisons to Kate Middleton were common themes. The media narrative often painted Meghan as an outsider who struggled to fit into the royal mould. Adding to the scrutiny was the strained relationship with her father, Thomas Markle. In the weeks leading up to the wedding, Thomas became a central figure in the media's coverage, creating a tabloid sensation. His staged paparazzi photos and subsequent absence from the wedding due to health issues became headline news. His public interviews, where he expressed his disappointment and revealed private conversations, only intensified the media frenzy. For Harry, the relentless media pressure on his wife was only too similar to the pressures faced by his mother 2 decades before, and he was willing to do anything to save the woman he now loved from the threat she now faced.
Prince Harry's relationship with the media went bad and has got progressively worse ever since his mother died. He believes deeply and profoundly that the media contributed to his mother's untimely death. So ever since her death, he has tried to find an accommodation, and that accommodation has been his acceptance that the intense interest in him could be used by him to throw focus on issues that he is passionate about. I think the relationship has got worse and worse, not least because of his relationship and now his marriage to Meghan Markle. I think ever since he set eyes on Meghan and fell in love with Meghan, he feared the day when he might lose her.